Senator, when Republicans get back into power, and they must get back into power, they will get back into power, how significant, how important is it for them to begin the process of defunding what is this hideous wokeification of the U.S. military?
Laura, it's great to be with you. It's absolutely vital that we get the military back focused on what it's supposed to do, which is protecting this country and fighting our wars. And by the way, that means actually protecting the security of the United States, not off nation building in places like Ukraine. You know, you said just a second ago this administration is sleepwalking toward a crisis in China. Part of the reason for that is they're so busy building, nation building, trying to create a client state in Ukraine that they're not focused on our biggest foreign policy threat, which is China and the Communist Party in China. And they're trying to use the military as a giant social experiment, use it, as you say, to carry on their wokeification agenda. All of that needs to stop. We need to get focused again on the national security of this country and also our economic security, and this administration has endangered them both.
Well, I want to play something from Biden's National Climate Advisor.
So the challenge is now that we're moving from denial to actually just trying to disengage the public, we have to get tighter. We have to get better at communicating. And frankly, the tech companies have to stop allowing specific individuals over and over again to spread disinformation.
Senator, the administration once again trying to use big tech as their proxies to censor U.S. Citizens' views on, I don't know, decommissioning power plants, shutting down nuclear plants, and the coming blackouts we're going to have this summer.
You know, Laura, this is the most recent example of the most anti-First Amendment administration in American history. I mean, this is an administration that is assaulting our basic fundamental constitutional values and principles at every single turn. And I can't think of another administration in our history that has said, has symboled an enemies list, if you will, and has read it over and over from the White House podium and says, we want these people off of social media. We want these people not to be able to communicate a message. We want Americans not to talk about COVID vaccines. We don't want them to raise questions about wearing masks. We don't want them to talk about any concerns they have over the radical left climate change agenda. I mean, it is unbelievable, Laura, what they're willing to do. And I think that we will look back and see that this was the moment, the Biden presidency was the moment that the left truly lost its grip on reality. When you're trying to silence your own citizens because they don't agree with you, you've got a big problem. And that's where the left is right now. They want to silence Americans.
Now, Senator, I want to get your letter that you wrote to DOJ in a moment, but I first have to ask you, given the fact that we couldn't defeat the Taliban, we totally screwed up the withdrawal from Afghanistan, do you have any faith that Austin and Milley are capable of leading us into battle for Taiwan against China? And if not, why are not all Republican senators calling for their immediate resignation?
Well, I've called for them both to resign, and that's a big part of the reason why, Laura. I mean, after what happened in Afghanistan, the total debacle and disgrace there, where let's never forget, this president left hundreds of American civilians behind to the enemy, left them behind the enemy. No president in American history has ever done that, and no president has ever celebrated it, which is what this administration did. All of those people should be gone, beginning with Austin and Milley, the Secretary of State, the National Security Advisor. All of them should be gone. So, no, I do not have confidence in them. I do not have confidence in the president, who clearly is not fit to lead. And we have got to make a change, and the American people are going to have a chance this November.
Yeah, I mean, against China. I mean, we're struggled against the Taliban. Now, you wrote to the DOJ the following. Please respond to this letter with a full account of why your office didn't immediately arrest those who illegally flocked around Kavanaugh's home on June 8th, hours after the assassination attempt, and also why you're dragging your feet on arresting criminals for firebombing the pregnancy resource centers across the country. Any response tonight, Senator?
No response. And, of course, there won't be, Laura, because Merrick Garland and Biden's DOJ, they don't want to do anything when it comes to actually enforcing the law. You've got radical leftists out there. They've firebombed or arsoned, have burned down over a dozen pregnancy care centers all across the country. 13, I think it was, at last count. You've got an attempted assassination of a sitting Supreme Court justice. And what are they doing? Merrick Garland won't enforce the most basic federal laws that say that you can't picket a justice's home. You can't parade in front of a justice's home, to say nothing of the attempted arsons and the carried out arsons and fire bombings. So this is an administration that turns a blind eye again and again and again to violence, even while it attempts to shut down the speech that you were talking about just a second ago. I mean, they think that the biggest threats to the United States are Americans asking questions about the COVID vaccine.
Yeah.
That they want to stop. Fire bombings, that's okay.
Senator, thank you for that letter, and thank you for staying on this issue of the crisis pregnancy centers and Kavanaugh.